Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline. Our top story. Sarawak plans to expand the use of robotics and AI in addressing the challenges of an aging population. Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng says robots could be particularly useful given Sarawak's relatively small population.
Jadi kita gunakan robot, negeri kita tu kecil. Manusia kita 2 juta lebih. Negeri kita besar. Mungkin kita boleh menggunakan robot untuk membantu kita di semua bidang.
As robotics essentially depend on programs developed by humans, Abang Johari says this is practical to assist the elderly. He also cites the use of robots across various sectors in developed countries such as Japan and Europe, including the healthcare sector. According to him, the use of AI is also part of Sarawak's transformation agenda as a supporting technology in implementing government policies.
Now, September 16th celebration slated to take place at BCCK is subjected to current Haze situation. While many events have already been cancelled, including the National Day, Maulidur Rasul and Sarawak Ku Sayang in Mukah, Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng hopes that the Haze situation improves as soon as possible before Malaysia Day.
Nasihat saya ialah berhati-hatilah, kesihatan yang perlu. Tenaga dapat diberi, tapi kesihatan. Kerana sebab dia kerajaan telah memutuskan supaya major event stop, postpone. Bagi kebangsaan kita postpone, Maulud Nabi kita postpone, Sarawak Ku Sayang postpone. Dah hanjaklah September, yang 6 September. Kita menangkan keadaan. Saya dah beritahu Perdana Menteri semalam di Brunei. Kita jemput is a problem now di Sarawak. Di Brunei si kena, utara kita si kena. Kena mutak naga dalam map masuk ke Google map. Oh, dekat border.
He says the measure is important, particularly to protect high-risk groups including those who have asthma from exposure to poor weather conditions and air quality. He adds the Sarawak government will continue to monitor the situation over the next 1 to 2 weeks before making any further decisions.
Meanwhile, surveying and demarcation work along the Malaysia-Brunei border is progressing smoothly, with about 50% of the total border alignment already surveyed and jointly marked. Sarawak Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan says the remaining sections are targeted for completion by 2034 through continued cooperation between both countries.
Panjang sempadan ini lebih kurang dari 528 kilometer. 528 kilometer. Dan yang telah pun dipersetujui dan disukat sepanjang 268 kilometer.
Both countries have also agreed to resume surveying work in the sections with overlapping claims in May 2027. He adds that field surveying work is currently progressing well through technical cooperation between the two neighbouring countries. Awang Tengah also emphasizes that border demarcation involves more than just technical considerations, as historical factors and the communities living in the affected areas are also taken into account. In a separate development, the Bandar Lawas Bridge project is expected to be completed in October, further improving connectivity and supporting more orderly development in the town.
Jadi perancangan kita ialah satu, untuk membangunkan dengan perancangan yang lebih teratur, yang lebih sempurna berdasarkan kepada perancangan road network kita, facilities kita, dan kita pun beri taklimat mengenai dengan Northern Coastal Highway.
The infrastructure project should be viewed as part of a wider plan to improve the development of Lawas, which includes the road network and public facilities in the town. He also says the government is preparing the Limbang Lawas Local Plan 2035 to ensure development in both areas is carried out in a more systematic manner, taking into account infrastructure needs and road connectivity.
Right, the construction of a velodrome center in Kuching, expected to begin next year, will finally provide a dedicated training facility for Sarawak's cycling athletes. Minister for Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, says the site for the facility has been identified, with the proposal already presented to Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunompeng.
Ya, dengan adanya fasiliti seperti itu, sekurang-kurangnya kita tidak perlu menumpang. Pada masa ini, saya tahu skuad ataupun kontingen basikal Sarawak perlu menumpang di Semenanjung. Apabila kita menumpang ni.
He says the plan also comes at the right time, following Sarawak's historic first ever Sukma goal in track cycling, after Adib Andar Andan won the men's Kirin event. Meanwhile, the Sarawak government has assured its athletes that medal incentives for Sukma Selangor 2026 will be relevant and at least on par with the rewards offered by other states.
Kabinet yang akan menentukan bahawa berapa jumlah untuk perak, emas, berapa jumlah untuk perak dan juga berapa jumlah untuk gangsa. Tapi memang seperti apa yang saya katakan tadi, jumlahnya mesti lumayan lah. Saya rasa tidaklah kurang daripada mana-mana negeri yang lain dalam Sarawak. We will use that itu sebagai gauge penanda.
Karim adds that the state government already has a practice of rewarding athletes who win medals, including in both individual and team events. He says the approach reflects the Sarawak government's recognition of each athlete's contribution to a team, rather than basing rewards solely on the placing achieved in an event.
Right, 51 coordinated attacks involving arson, explosions and property damage were reported across Thailand's Restiff South on Saturday night, leaving 3 people injured. According to the military's Internal Security Operations Command, the incidents targeted various locations including a local government office, a 7-Eleven convenience store and vehicles.
The incidents were reported across the 3 southern provinces of Narathiwat, Patani and Yala. Provincial officials say 2 women aged 45 and 46 and a 21-year-old man were injured and hospitalized following a roadside bombing in Narathiwat. All 3 are in stable condition. Narathiwat Governor Boon Trey Homyamyen says no further attacks were reported on Sunday morning. Meanwhile, Malaysia's Foreign Ministry says no Malaysian nationals have been reported affected by the security incidents, as it continues to closely monitor developments in the affected areas. At the same time, Malaysians residing in, travelling through or planning to travel to or from the southern border provinces of Thailand are urged to exercise heightened caution, remain vigilant and strictly follow all safety advisories, curfews and security instructions issued by local authorities. Wisma Putra also urged Malaysians to register and regularly update their contact details through the e-consular portal to facilitate timely communication and consular assistance.
Now, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. after trade negotiations between the 2 longtime allies broke down. The new Canadian tariffs will take effect on September 8th, with U.S. steel and dairy industries among the targeted sector. More details are expected to be announced next week.
Why does it feel like today Mark Carney is going to war? Trade war. The tone.
Because we were attacked. You're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked. U.S. put 50%. We waited until the United States decided to actually implement these so-called 338 tariffs. That's fine. We've got the reserves, we got the resilience, we've got the plan, we've got the focus. We will respond. We're going to focus on what we can control. We're going to build.
Negotiations between the neighboring countries broke down on Friday in Washington after the U.S. imposed new 50% tariffs on Canadian goods. The measures affect about $20 billion worth of goods, or around 5.1% of Canadian exports to the U.S. Earlier today, U.S. President Donald Trump responded, saying Canada wants the benefits of being a state without actually becoming one. Carney says the trade deal collapsed after U.S. negotiators introduced restrictions on Canada's trade agreements with other countries at the 11th hour. He also says U.S. negotiators made unacceptable threats to the French language and Quebec culture. He adds Canada must now reduce its reliance on its southern neighbor, which currently accounts for about 70% of Canada's exports.
Moving on to West Asia, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian says Tehran is in a quote-unquote full-scale war that impacts various sectors, including economy, military, and security. The government is currently seeking to overcome these difficulties and says it is ashamed that there are problems in the economy as a result from US's sanctions and blockades.
In a televised speech broadcasted by the Islamic Republic News Agency, IRNA, Pezeshkian says Trump easily described that they will impose the most crushing and most terrible sanctions on Iran. But Tehran will persevere, standing firm and striving to serve the Iranian people amid what he called an unequal war. He also says the US had analyzed that if Iran falls, it will become Venezuela. Their predictions were wrong when Venezuela fought back and became a power that amazed the world with its resistance, solidarity, and cohesion. Meanwhile, Tehran is currently working to prevent division, conflicts, and ego within its own territory. Previously, Iran and the US signed a memorandum of understanding in June through Pakistani and Qatari mediation, ending hostilities that began in February, and agreed to pursue negotiations toward a final agreement. Talks have since stalled amid disputes over implementation of the memorandum and arrangements for navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for global oil and gas exports.
Wrapping up the Nightline, Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir will visit the Iranian capital Tehran on Monday. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baqi announced this earlier today, whereby Munir and the accompanying delegation aims to bolster bilateral cooperation and build on Pakistan's efforts to help strengthen peace and security in the region.
Baqi further states that Munir will hold discussions with senior Iranian officials during the trip. Pakistan has acted as a key mediator between Iran and the US throughout the war and has maintained close contact with both sides. Meanwhile, Munir and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, in a fresh contact, have discussed the regional situation and ways to revive long-stalled direct talks with the US to end the months-long war. During a phone call, they discussed regional developments and effective ways to strengthen peace, stability, and security in West Asia. The conversation covered regional security challenges and strategies for reinforcing stability in the region, Mer News Agency reported, citing an Iranian Foreign Ministry readout. No further details were provided by the Foreign Ministry. The latest contact comes amid a renewed push by mediators, Pakistan and Qatar, to bring the two warring sides to the table following the expiration of a 60-day deadline to reach a final agreement to end the war.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news, and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. Thank you for watching. Good night and Assalamu Alaikum.